Hey, lovely people. So, I've been very lazy with my YouTube channel, but I have. Do you ever have like a situation where you have this burning opinion which is keeping you up at night and you need to express it to someone? Um, and my camera ends up being my most my most patient friend who listens to all my opinions, and then I end up putting it on YouTube in case someone likes it or can relate to it or needed to hear someone else say it. Um, So I was watching these comedies by Josiah. Oh, I can't remember his last name. He does these comedies about like Starbucks workers who get very impatient with all the kind of demanding customers, and uh, and then he also does. I love him. He's very funny. He's from Texas, and he also does these videos about naming conventions, and it's sort of like about a school teacher who gets frustrated when he's taking roll call with all the strange names that kids have. Now, it's interesting. I find that there is a tendency to blame parents for using overly imaginative names for their children because they're going to get bullied in school, and that it's cruel to give them that, like, a name like, I don't know, Clementine or turquoise or something really fanciful because they're gonna that's gonna lead to bullying in high school or middle school or one of those cultures where people judge on the surface a lot. And I have like an objection to blaming the parents for that because I feel like, for instance, in India there or Vietnam, Thailand, in Asia, there's a culture of teasing for sure about names and superficial stuff, but it's very amiable teasing. Like it's, you know, if I had a funny name, my friend would go, "Haha, you've got a funny name," and then we'd be over it. That would be it. And strangers wouldn't really talk about it, like or kids in the class wouldn't necessarily tease about something that shallow because it's understood that a name is just a name, and also you didn't choose it. Like, I feel like there should be that level of common sense should be assumed, even in middle school in America. That or like kids who make fun of each other for what their parents do. What is that to do with that kid? Like they didn't choose what their dad does for a living. If their dad's a plumber, first of all, nothing wrong with being a plumber. Second of all, and that should be part of the education. And second of all, like, duh. Even a 16-year-old, even a 14-year-old, even a 13-year-old knows that we didn't choose our parents' vocations. So why is that shade on us if our parents do something embarrassing? Um, and we didn't choose our names. That's also kind of like assumed. Like, okay, yeah, my name is Fluffy Bunny, but um, so what? And it was interesting because when I went to the gym in India, I noticed like a completely different culture from what I would expect in, for instance, a gym in Canada. Although I never really went to a gym in Canada, I only kind of experienced the school locker room thing. But I was noticing how young Indian guys behave in regards to their body, their attitude about their body. And if they had a good body, they were quite proud, and they would look at themselves in the mirror and they would enjoy it, and then they would move on and they'd get on with their workout. And then if they didn't like their body, like if they had a belly or something, they would look at it like, oh, bummer, and then they'd move on. And like it wasn't this kind of like crippling shame that was a part of their identity. Whereas I think like in Western societies, especially in, you know, the Americas and white Americas, we have a tendency to regard our physical attractiveness, as I'm like preening, um, as it's sort of like the way Asian people think of their family honor. Like it's so deep. It's so deep, which is why we're so sensitive about like personal remarks. Like personal remarks about appearance in Asia are kind of like throwaway comments. They're not. So I kind of feel like it's not fair to blame parents for. I feel like creative names are kind of a part of an evolutionary process, and it would be better to move in a direction of being less judgmental as a culture, and especially like snap judgments, than and assessing people's value based on appearance. Like, shouldn't we work on that rather than like um, just having lots of Johns and Janes? Anyway, yeah, it was a burning opinion. In my head, I was raging actually. Like when I was going to sleep and I was thinking about this, I was actually like completely rabid and fanatical in what I was going to say. And now that I'm on the camera, I'm quite calm actually. So evidently the fervor has faded a bit. But yeah, I think I'm not sure, like in terms of the anthropological or collective psychological reasoning for why there is less judgment in some of these Asian cultures about those things. They have judgment. They have their own prejudices and problems, but the fact that they don't have it about that shows that it's possible. It's not just kids will be kids. Like it's not just a foregone conclusion that kids will judge each other based on what they're wearing or what their name is or what their dad does for a living or what their mom does for a living. It's not um, assumed. So anyway, that's what I wanted to express about that. And naming conventions. I think it's cool when someone has a name like, I don't know, Iceman. Something kind of, it's interesting. It's kind of fun. Anyway, your youth is supposed to be a time of fun and whimsy, not like these very strict codes of what's cool. That seems kind of, I'm going to quote Mary Williamson, that seems kind of draconian and Orwellian. Okay, bye for now.